Good evening, viewers. Tonight, many in India mourn the loss of one of the tallest leaders that Tamil Nadu has given this country. One of the first movies Karunanidhi actually scripted was in 1952, Parashakti. It went on to become a cult hit. It was an evolved political expression of Dravidian ideology, which at that time stood as the voice of those marginalized and neglected by the society. The plot, the characters and the powerful language of the script struck a chord with the masses like no other movie had done before that. And it started a wave of movies loaded with political messaging tailored for and targeted at the masses, resulting in a revolution that went on to change the state politics for almost a half a century, unchallenged by the events in the rest of the country. While Anna Durai and MGR stood in the spotlight, charmed and swayed the masses, the words that took the message home were that of Kailash. Each word crafted for efficiency, laced with nuance and sharp-tongued humor, even demagoguery, never missing the target. And the chief architect, viewers, was none other than the man who has gone on to become immortal now as Kailash, or the artist, befittingly. Let's go across to Pramod to get you the latest. We understand that there will be a special urgent hearing that the Chief Justice of Madras High Court is going to hold, Pramod. And this, of course, is on the first controversy that has already come to fore just hours after Karunanidhi's demise. Take us through the details.
It surely is, because as you might know, it was already spoken and verbally there was a kind of, as we come to know from the government sources, that there was a verbal agreement stating that Karunanidhi would be provided land behind this Anna Memorial Hall that is at Marina Beach. And this is very important for the leaders in Tamil Nadu because burying next to Anna and MGR has become something that they have waited for so long, because the thing is that Anna was the founder of DMK, and then we had MGR, who is the founder of ADMK, and MGR was equivalent to Karunanidhi in many ways. So that's the kind of like an ego battle. It became an ego battle, and then it became legendary. And Jayalalitha passed away before Karunanidhi, and she got a position in Marina. So that's the problem right now, stating that how come a person who has been the 5 times Chief Minister and 13 times MLA, and he has been working with so many prime ministers who had shaped the structure, the political structure of the state, is not getting a state location in Marina, but a person who got convicted in a disproportionate asset case was buried over there. These kind of questions are arising. However, the Chief Justice has made it very clear that because there is a legal battle, because 5 people have already filed cases in the this Madras High Court petitions, that's the reason they are not able to provide a particular land. The interesting fact is that as we were speaking earlier, one of the persons who had filed the PIL, her name is Gandhi Madi, an advocate, withdrew her petition. And another person called Durai Swami has also stated that he is ready to withdraw the petition. There are 3 people more. One person's name is Traffic Ramaswamy. And the thing is that right now, DMK's leaders, legal leaders, Saravanan and R.S. Bharti, MP, DMK MP for Rajya Sabha, they are the ones who are moving this case right now. And Acting Chief Justice Kuruvadi Ramesh is going to hear the case because, as you might know, Indira Banerjee has been elevated to a Supreme Court justice level. So he is the Acting Chief Justice here. And as we speak, people have started to assemble in front of his house, where the hearing is expected to hear by 10:30 p.m.
All right, Pramod. In fact, we're going to come across to you live in just a bit from outside the Chief Justice's residence, where, of course, now the focus shifts from Kaveri Hospital to the Chief Justice's residence as this case gets taken up. Of course, a huge amount of dignitaries, top leaders from the Prime Minister to the Congress President to various Chief Ministers will be flying down tomorrow to pay their respects. So effectively, really, the state funeral, or at least everyone coming in to pay the respects, all of that is being planned for tomorrow, which is why DMK wanted the hearing to take place tonight itself, so that there is some clarity on what goes on. Visuals on your screen are from short while ago. There have been reports of spurts of ruckus from various locations as people from DMK are obviously right now a little upset that the state is denying their Kalayagna space for him to rest in peace. In fact, we've got some breaking news also coming in right now, and on this controversy itself, Rajnikant has actually come out to back the demand of DMK and to back the sentiment behind the Karuna Memorial. He's actually requested the Tamil Nadu government to take all the necessary steps and provide burial space at the Marina Beach. Rajnikant, top superstar, also now turning into a neta, making his view very clear. Earlier in the evening also he had tweeted saying it's indeed a black day for him as he loses Karunanidhi. Let's also say good evening to our guests who will be with us for this special broadcast. Mr. S. Venkatnarayan, political analyst, Mr. Muralidharan, also a political analyst with us this evening, Radhika Ramaseshan, consulting editor to Business Standard, Arun Ram, resident editor for Times of India. Arun Ram, good evening to you. I'll come to you first. Okay, I believe Ramakant Gaur, senior lawyer of the Supreme Court, also joining us. But let me go across to Mr. Arun Ram first. For our viewers across the country, Mr. Ram, if you could explain to us why are we looking at this controversy? What is really the significance of the Marina Beach and that space that DMK wants for Karunanidhi next to the Anna Memorial?
It's very interesting. You know, if you look at it, unlike many other states, unlike many other chief ministers, the chief minister of Tamil Nadu doesn't have actually an official residence, so to say. You know, it's one of those ministers' residences that the chief minister by default occupies. You look at it, you know, Jayalalitha lived in her Forest Garden residence, which was not an official residence. So did Karunanidhi at his Gopalapuram residence, which is not the official chief minister's residence. But when a chief minister dies, it has become a matter of pride. And the demand becomes very shrill that they all need a final resting place by the Marina Beach. The reasons are sentimental, emotional, and probably historical. Because, you know, if you look at it, all the mighty leaders, the veterans, the legends of Tamil Nadu politics, at least two big names we can think about, Annadurai, C.N. Annadurai, and Jayalalitha, and before that MGR have been buried there. The memorials have been on the Marina. So Marina has become a symbol of probably a political eternity, so to say. So it is only along those lines that the DMK and the Karunanidhi family is trying to get a final resting place for their leader there. But it cannot be forgotten that Karunanidhi was instrumental in having Annadurai's and even MGR's. Despite the fact being MGR was his political rival, Karunanidhi was all for it, and he was, in fact, he was literally, he rolled up his sleeves and dirtied his hands to construct the MGR memorial. So that is how far Tamil Nadu politicians go to find a final resting place. So, and it was, I think it was most unexpected. It was a bit of a shock for everyone that this government denied permission when Stalin and DMK leaders called on him this afternoon, after Karunanidhi's health was deteriorating rapidly. And nobody expected violence, although it was a very small-scale violence. Nobody expected that to happen in Chennai, because Karunanidhi has always lived a peaceful life, and his death was also, though the battle was pretty long, almost 10 years on a wheelchair, and 11 days, about more than a year with a tracheotomy tube, and 11 days in an ICU. But then he went in peace finally. So nobody expected street fights, but this decision, rather shocking decision by the Chief Minister and the AIA-DMK government has probably forced, probably it is responsible partly for the sporadic violence we have witnessed. But fortunately, we've been told that the police have been able to bring that under control.
All right, Mr. Muralidharan, do you think largely this is just a political decision? This won't be the first demand for a memorial at the Marina Beach. There have been others which are already there. Then why is it that the state government today is citing these legal restrictions?
I don't think so. I don't think so. I mean, whatever is happening, I think there was a dialogue, and We don't know what exactly transpired there. But I think they categorically said it was the Chief Secretary who was announced saying that there's certain litigation, so we will not be able to accommodate that. In place of that, we are giving another place which is next to Mahatma Gandhi's memorial. So why not take that? So that's their request. So we have to wait, because now that the DMK has moved the High Court, we need to wait till 11 p.m. today and to know what's the outcome.
Gaur, what's your view? I mean, constitutionally speaking and legally speaking, and will the sentiments of people become a factor here then?
The strong emotions, however strong they may be, may not create a fundamental right. So right to having buried at a particular place may not create a fundamental right. At the same time, in this peculiar circumstances, High Court may intervene and try to create or evolve a decision which is mutually agreeable. So I don't see much as far as the fundamental rights are concerned. As far as emotional perspective is concerned and the court's role in evolving peaceful solution is concerned, I think we would see that perspective more.
Mr. Venkatarayan, good evening to you. Before we, of course, talk slightly bigger issues about the legacy that Karunanidhi leaves behind and how you see Tamil Nadu politics moving from here, quick word on this controversy that's come in right now. Really needless, isn't it?
Absolutely. There was no need for this. And the present dispensation has only shown its small-mindedness by creating a technical, hassle. Hopefully that will be sorted peacefully before the national leaders start arriving in Chennai to pay their last respects to Mr. Karunanidhi in the Rajaji Hall. There was absolutely no need. And these 5 cases the Chief Secretary was talking about, I think 2 of them have already withdrawn their cases. And before the judge takes up, the High Court judge takes up the other cases, hopefully they will also withdraw them. And the matter will be sorted out in an amicable fashion, I'm hoping.
Yes, and that's actually a very interesting aspect when you talk about this entire controversy that's come about, that there were some petitions cases already in the court. 2 of them were withdrawn earlier today, and there is an expectation that the rest may be withdrawn. So that could actually make the job of the Chief Justice relatively easy. But we'll wait and watch, and we'll keep going back to Pramod on this. Arun Ram, let's also just, talk a little bit about MGR and Karunanidhi's relationship, the way it evolved from, friends to then sort of foes at one point of time, because we are also talking about a space where it's not just the Anna Memorial, but you have Jayalalitha and the entire legacy connected there. Few words for our viewers who are joining in who may not know too much about the MGR Karunanidhi equation.
See, MGR and Karunanidhi were 2 sides of the coin. In terms of, that was a time, we have to understand, that was a time when the movement, the Dravidian movement was one part, and the other part, the counterpart, was movies. So MGR represented the Tamil movie, The Star, and Karunanidhi, the scriptwriter, he scripted the Dravidian ideology simultaneously with Kollywood. So he was this man, Kailash, who was writing the script, which was to be taken to the people. Those were the times of traveling theatre and traveling cinema halls. So the powerful dialogues that Karunanidhi penned came out and taken to the masses by MGR. So it was a perfect symbiosis the 2 men had, and they had a wonderful relationship till, of course, politics started, driving a wedge between them. Politics in the sense that when it got to real politics. So Karunanidhi was the person who brought MGR to politics, we have to understand. But then as Karunanidhi saw the popularity of MGR grow, probably maybe bigger than his, of course there was concern. As a political strategist, he was a bit concerned. And it has been recorded in history that how how Karunanidhi tried to underplay MGR. Even there was a time when Karunanidhi tried to bring to movies his elder son, MK Muthu, who almost tried to be a lookalike of MGR, but he bombed. He was a disaster. He could sing a bit. He could not act for nuts. So they had a love-hate relationship.
Right.
But then, as they grew older, when MGR fell ill, Karunanidhi was the first person to say that his heart bleeds, his heart goes out to his old friend. So there was this love-hate, and at the bottom of each other, both hearts, there was love for each other. So it was a fantastic relationship, which became a rarity in Tamil Nadu politics later on. After MGR, when Jayalalitha took over the mantle, the animosity each other they exhibited was so much. They never looked eye to eye. There was only once, I think, in the last 20 years, Jayalalitha and Karunanidhi crossed their paths and looked at each other. That was in the lobby of the assembly. So compared to any other political rivals, I think it was a beautiful story, in fact made into a movie by Mani Ratnam, the relationship between Karunanidhi and MGR. And it was also a fact that Karunanidhi had deep respect for MGR in two ways, I think. One was, of course, MGR was a man who understood poverty and did things to alleviate poverty, and the other being that Karunanidhi was respectful towards MGR because of his victory, electoral victory also. Probably MGR was the only person who could keep Karunanidhi, the stalwart, out of power for more than 10 years.
Yes.
From 1977, when MGR came to power, till his death in 1987, Karunanidhi could not come back to power.
Yes.
That is the longest span when Karunanidhi had to keep away from the corridors of power.
Vinay, while that's largely about the relationship between MGR and Karunanidhi, what of course went on, and the two leaders who took forward Dravidian politics in Tamil Nadu were then Jayalalitha, whose mentor was MGR, and Karunanidhi, a former friend. And do you see that now changing, that era of Dravidian politics now kind of going in the past, becoming the past?
Changing to the extent that the generation of politicians that are now set to govern Tamil Nadu or to be in the center of Tamil Nadu, in my opinion at least, Arun would perhaps know that better, but in my opinion, I don't think they are anywhere near the stature that was so far seen in Tamil Nadu politics. Karunanidhi's importance in Indian politics is not just relegated to his state. To me,
yes,
he was a flag bearer of the federal system that India has. He was a man who, along with, I would say, Harkishan Singh Surjit and A.B. Bardhan, one of the three people who perhaps set the tone for coalition politics going forward in India. I mean, his coalition era, his ability to cobble together large alliances.
To make and break.
Was there ever since VP Singh government came into power. So his role in the national stage has been legendary that way. And with the kind of wisdom and the intellectual expertise that he would bring, was perhaps a huge contribution to the era which saw the decline of a single party rule in Congress and the emergence of a coalition dharma in many ways. Remember, that is all central governments in India try for a centralized system of operation. The desire to centralize a federal country structure has always been very deep in North. And to have somebody like Karunanidhi at the state level to be a flag bearer of that kind of politics is a very important role, because India, after all, is a federal politics, and that role cannot be undermined. And I think that with his passing away and with Amma not being there anymore, there is a serious political gap in terms of the wisdom that one would expect from political leaders to cobble together something like that.
Mr. Venkatarayan, would you agree? I mean, we were talking about how the last 20-25 years were primarily the fight between Karunanidhi and Jayalalitha. And that now, both of them within a year and a half are gone now. How does that change the political scenario?
Well, that the passing away of Karunanidhi tonight is the end of a very major political era in the history of Tamil Nadu politics. And now you don't have stalwarts anymore. Stalin has to prove that he's a worthy successor to his father. And we will know what kind of impact Stalin will have on the electorate only when there is an election in Tamil Nadu next time. As far as DMK is concerned, I do not see any leadership qualities in either, EPS.
It's all very tricky and open. We don't really know what is going to happen. And what will Rajinikanth and Kamala Hassan be doing? We have to see whether they will have any impact on electoral politics, whether they're going to work together. I don't think they are going to work together. They're going to be working separately. And so the electorate will be split. Who exactly will emerge as a winner, only time will tell. Because in the last assembly election, the DMK won 32% of the vote, but AIADMK, because of Jayalalitha, got 40-odd%. So that means every third voter in Tamil Nadu had voted for the DMK.
Yes.
Will Stalin be able to retain that voter support, and will he be able to get some votes from the AIDMK towards the DMK so that he can assert himself as a worthy successor to his father and form the government if and when the next assembly elections are held?
Right. Tamil Nadu Advocate General, Mr. Vijay Narayanan, has also met the Chief Minister because, of course, he will be the one who represents the view of the government, considering and justifies why the government has decided not to give permission for that burial space. And when I think this is also one of those examples. I mean, the kind of stand that the AIADMK government seems to be taking, it also shows that you don't right now perhaps have one of those leaders with a larger vision, you know, and a greater sense of clarity for what comes next.
Yes, absolute lack of wisdom, absolute lack of foresight, absolute lack of understanding of how politics and people think. And as you rightly saying, this perhaps would not have happened if Tamil Nadu had one of those tall leaders that state has been used to for so many years. I mean, this is bankruptcy of ideation. This is bankruptcy of emotion. This is a very un-Indian thing to do when you actually deny somebody's last wish of being cremated at the place that he or she wants to. And more than that, I'm absolutely astounded by not being able to understand on what is the benefit that the IDMK thinks is going to derive by denying this. I mean, if this was a political move, what's the political benefit of this is something that I've just not been able to understand. And it's not something, we had the IDMK spokesperson on our channel a short while back, and he was struggling to explain what is the benefit that one will get politically by denying something like this. I mean, it's an emotive issue. There is no downside to something like this. All the technicalities that they're raising are complete technicalities, and there have been enough ways and means available to bypass them, just like they did during the Jayalalitha cremation as well. So there is absolutely no basis for doing whatever they did. And obviously there is very bad and very poor counsel currently to the CM. Whoever is advising Chief Minister currently is doing a rather poor job.
Right. In fact, we've also got Mr. Kailash Rathore joining us this evening. Mr. Rathore, thank you for speaking with us. It looks like, and in the last couple of years, that more frequently now we're looking at courts opening their doors to urgent hearings in the middle of the night, you know, from whether it's decision about the life of a terrorist or formation of a government, to now where we're speaking about burial space and memorial space for one of the tallest leaders from Tamil Nadu.
Well, courts take decisions in their own wisdom, and being emotive issues of importance, the Supreme Court doors are always open. Here is a situation which is emotive, it's troubling a lot of people, it is disturbing lots of minds in Tamil Nadu because they seem to have lost a patriarch, a person who has had his say in politics for the past 5 decades. So the courts will always be open to this, and it's not extraordinary that the courts open up hearings at the middle of the night or in the early hours of the day, because there are many occasions which need such urgent hearings. I see nothing extraordinarily wrong with that. I mean, that's the right thing for the court to do. It has got to put this matter to rest, because it's just getting explosive and getting everybody high-strung on issues which have become political now in nature, rather than evolving upon an area which one would say is legal or the like. It is just the court has to do it. It's become a justiciable issue as to where to bury a person who has been a patriarch.
Yes, but
I'm just... Emotions are running high between political parties.
I'm just trying to, maybe understand why we couldn't have done the same hearing at about 8 in the morning before the preparations begin for wherever the burial finally takes place versus 10:30 tonight. But that, of course, depends on, are there any specific rules or criteria, or is it subjective, the urgency of a plea?
No, there are no rules. No. It is subjective. It is in the discretion of the Chief Justice to decide whether to hear a matter or no. And by and large, the court does do this where it finds there's an urgency, but is the need to take some kind of a judicial action for the purposes of avoiding any kind of an untoward incident and to sort of bring about a justice system which works in controversial situations. These are controversial situations. It's very sad that a person's death is leading to these kind of proceedings because these are matters best decided outside the court. I mean, the least one can say is it's a very sad reflection on our polity as to what we are doing today. A man has passed away. He's been in the service of the state for so many years. He's been participating in the affairs of Tamil Nadu since the 1960s. And today when he's, well, there's a feeling amongst a large number of people that he should be given a place where he should be honorably buried. Yes. We're creating a controversy about it. I mean, it's a very sad commentary in the polity.
Yes, absolutely.
You turn to the judiciary when you create a situation which is uncalled for.
Absolutely. I completely agree with you, especially when it comes to this case.
No, I just supposing the judicial verdict is don't bury him here, but bury him at place B. What is going to be the reaction to that? I mean, it's senseless, as I say. It's sad and senseless, both. These are not issues which should come to court. They should be mutually resolved outside.
And perhaps it's more easier and justifiable for the governments to factor in the sentiments of people. It will be a lot more harder for a court to do this because they have to follow the law and whatever legal provisions are there. So that also becomes slightly more difficult.
Yes, and I mean, though Mr. Vasudev is really the legal...
But tell me, I mean,
Yes, Mr. Vasudev, good evening. This is Tanvi here. Please go ahead.
It's not really a legal issue. It's not a legal issue. It's a matter of sorting out two different claims.
Right.
Claims on the place as to where to bury a person. Isn't it sad? I mean, you can choose a place. You can mutually come to it. Why you want a place? Say, I mean, I don't want to say much because these are very emotive issues just now. But these are not matters which are brought to court.
I agree with you. Mr. Arun Ram.
The courts will decide.
Yes, let me take that point, Mr. Vasudev, to Arun Ram. Mr. Arun Ram, what could be the possible thought process, within the AIA DMK camp? Did they think that perhaps 10 years or 15 years from now, people would then associate Jayalalitha being and her memorial being right next to Anna and MGR versus a Karunanidhi who's nowhere in the vicinity? Is that what possibly they could be thinking?
You sound chilly.
It just beats me. It doesn't make sense at all. Because the only thing is that probably there is somebody who is so angry with Karunanidhi. We have seen this anger between Karunanidhi and Jayalalitha. And Jayalalitha is no more, as Vasudev said. These are not issues to be brought to court and even fought after somebody's death. They could have been bitter enemies. So it makes absolutely no sense to me. It doesn't make political sense. It doesn't make emotional sense. And I can't think of one reason why any of the living AIA DMK leaders have anything so intense against Karunanidhi at all. So the obvious answer could be some ill advisor is at work, and the Chief Minister has got a very sorry figure by doing this. I don't find any political significance to this decision.
Well, let's cut across to Pramod, who's outside the Chief Justice of Madras High Court, his residence. Pramod, the hearing was expected to begin by 10:30. What's the update you've got for us?
Well, as you could see, this whole place is swarming with DMK and various other advocates in front of Hulwadi G. Ramesh. He is the acting CJ of the Madras High Court presently. And we're also hearing that one more judge, Justice Sundar, who is famous for the 18 MLAs case where he gave a split verdict, and those things are also waiting for. Now we have Hulwadi G. Ramesh. He's a judge who's going to hear the case on DMK parts to the senior advocates Ilango and Shanmuga are the people who are going to appear on part of RS Bharati, who is actually the DMK's MP who has filed the case. And we also have the AG, as you speak, on the frame. I mean, he's actually entering the premises of the CJ right now. The thing is that this has become a completely different battle. This is more like a legal, a battle of legacy, actually. And the thing is that DMK leader M. Karunanidhi has been the chief minister 5 times, and the cadres and others almost till now believe that he will get a space in Marina. That is an actual space where they believe that, like, those people who have shaped the political structure of the state will get a location over there. That has become a stature, and that's the reason you could see that this special hearing is occurring in Chennai right now. The issue is that just it was said by 10:30 we'll have the hearing. It's almost 20 minutes, and till now it has not yet started. DMK advocates are here. They believe that not just that, of the 5 people who have filed the PIL, 1 has retracted it. There are 2 more who has agreed to retract it as well in front of the judge. There are 2 more as well. Look, one is Traffic Ramasamy and the other person is Kumaran. We are not sure what is going to be their version for now. But in front of us, as you speak, the legal drama is going to unroll any moment.
No, but Pramod, you're saying that the 2 petitioners that you're naming right now who have filed different cases, this sheds some more light for our viewers who are unaware of what kind of, legal proceedings have happened so far.
Well, certainly what happened is that this Anna Memorial and MGR Memorial, they are in a place called as Coastal Regulatory Zone, and as per the Government of India's environmental orders, 500 meters and 1000 meters, no construction should be done based on if it is low tide zone or high tide zone. But apparently Anna Memorial and MGR Memorial come under the corporation, and since no local body elections has conducted so far, the only people who take care of these memorials are special officers, and if they need to get permission, it goes to the municipality minister, that is SP Velimbani. So that is turning into a different chime. But however, after DMK's leader Durai Murugan came forward stating that they have requested with the chief minister and they are waiting for an answer, Girija Vaidyanathan immediately released a statement claiming that she can't provide the land. The government cannot provide the land because of the legal hurdles which came after burying Jayalalitha in such a quick manner at that memorial, and behind the MGR Memorial, and that's the reason right now RS Bharati has challenged that particular statement, claiming that these so-and-so people are ready to withdraw the case. The issue is that even though the PIL has been filed, the case has not been heard. The court has not provided any kind of stay or anything on the case, and that's the reason you're hearing this case right now, stating that why should the chief secretary state that she cannot, the land cannot be provided because there are legal hurdles. RS Bharati and DMK parties believe that how can there be legal hurdles when the court case has not yet been heard?
Okay, and all of that, we'll have some answers to all of those questions in just a bit. We continue to track the situation very closely. Of course, the model remains of Karunanidhi have been taken to his residence in Gopalapuram. A lot more action outside the Chief Justice's residence, where the hearing is just going to begin any time now. We're going to quickly take a break and we'll come back and get you more updates. I request our guests to also continue with us. With me in the studios, Vinay Tiwari continues to stay with us, and Faye D'Souza will also be joining us.